characteristic of Al-Qalqalah. The characteristic of Al-Qalqalah. So what is the characteristic of Al-Qalqalah? We mentioned it here in the list. It was on number 6. So in order to understand this characteristic, I want you to also pay attention to 2 characteristics that we already discussed. Al-Jahr and Al-Hams versus Al-Hams, and Al-Shidda versus Al-Rakhawa. We said this first characteristic was about the breath, and the second one was about the sound. All the red letters here are letters that do not allow the sound to keep going. So if I say the a, if I say it with sukoon in silent mode, it will be a, a. If I say the jim, it would be edge, edge, ed, aq, ab, ab, ak, at. Really, they don't allow any sound to come out, right? So they're all letters that cut the sound off. So if somebody is listening to someone reciting, and that person who is reciting comes across those letters in this sukoon mode, in the silent mode, he will not be able to hear those letters. He will not be able to recognize them. That's why a qalqalah took place. Qalqalah means rebounding or echoing of a letter. The letters start rebounding. So we're gonna watch here that these letters of qalqalah are among those letters that do not allow the sound to keep going. The jim, dal, qaf, ta, and ba, qutub, jad, okay? Those letters, they echo back so that people actually know what is pronounced when they're in silent mode. And how are they pronounced? I'll give you an example. Edge. So this is without the qalqalah. Now with qalqalah, it becomes edge. Edge. It bounces back. Ed becomes ed. Aq becomes aqqa. Ab becomes abba. Ab becomes ab. So it's, you pronounce the letter, but you closed your makhraj, right? The makhraj, the exit, the articulation where that letter was supposed to come out from, you closed it, the sound got cut off, but then you opened the exit. And once you open that exit, that sound just makes that small rebound. And that's al-qalqalah. Adj, ad, aqqa, atta, ab. And these are the letters of qalqalah, okay? Now, how about the other letters? Oh, what's up with the other letters? Why aren't we, how are we gonna figure out the other letters? Well, the other letters, see the other letters, look at here, the kaf and the ta, they also showed up in the hams category, which means they are letters that release air, remember? So what happens is when we say ak, even though the sound is stopped, but it does release air afterwards. So it's ak. So that's how people can recognize it. Ak, ak, ak. And the same thing with the ta. The air comes out between the upper teeth. At, ak, at. So both these letters, now people, when they are hearing somebody reciting and they're stopping at those letters, they're reciting them with sukoon, they can actually listen to them. And that's why they don't have qalqalah. The other letters, the qutub jad, those letters, all of them are from the jahr category. So they also don't have any breath coming out of them. So they cut the sound and they cut the breath. So they're so strong and powerful that they really stop everything at their exit, right? And that's why something had to be done, and the rebounding happens. We release the pressure on the exit so that the letter bounces back, and that's when the qalqala happens. The only other letter that is left is the hamza. It doesn't release air either, but the hamza has actually different tricks to it. So for example, the hamza can be recognized by cutting off a pronunciation abruptly. So for example, when you say as-sama, even though it doesn't have much qalqala or anything, as-sama, people can actually recognize that. Or al-mu'minun, when you stop and you keep going, mu'minun, mu'minun, there's a stop, right? That stop means that there's a hamza. And not only that, there's a lot of tribes, and like we said, there's many qira'at, right? There's many qira'at, and we said many riwayat, and the riwayah that we're studying is Hafsa and Asim. In this riwayah, we say the hamza, but in riwayat Warsh an Nafi', the hamza, most of the places, the hamza is actually done with. They don't actually pronounce it. For example, ya ayyuhal ladhina, ya ayyuhal mu'minun, mu'minun. So in the qira'ah that we're studying, we say mu'minun, mu'minun. In Warsh, they say mu'minun, mu'minun. They don't even pronounce the hamza totally. And that's how some tribes at the time of the Prophet ﷺ used to deal with the hamza. So the hamza, there was so many different ways of dealing with it, and how to recognize that it was pronounced. So that's why we have these letters, and that's how they were dealt with. And that's what qalqala is. And inshallah, in the next session, I will have more examples, because there's degrees of qalqala. There's a stronger qalqala. The echoing becomes stronger at certain places. It becomes weak at other places, and in between, when the letters are in the middle of the words. So we'll talk about that in more details, inshallah, in the next session. If you have any questions, let me know. I know I have a request for Surah Al-Fatiha, so I can take that now. I'll stop sharing here, or I'll stop recording. I'll stop recording.